Monday, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And if you have not had a good day thus far, I hope it gets better from here. So I'm going to get into the channeled messages for today. The song that I got was Runar by Dunheim, which is interesting. Definitely give that a listen. It's definitely heavy drum beats and throat singing, so that'll be interesting for someone. And I got the numbers 1313, 252, 333, 411, and 420. So some of you may some of you may like to imbibe in some herbal medicine, if you know what I mean. Dark wave was also relevant. The name Alex. Some of you could work with goetic deities. Some of you are very occulty. You might be practitioners yourself. And some of you could be Icelandic. So those are the synchronicities for you. And let's get into what house this channeled message is in, and the sign. So let's see. First, we have the first house for the house of self. Hi, hello. And for the sign for today, we have Libra. So Libra in the house of self. So you could be a Libra rising. It's very interesting that the song I got was Runar by Dunheim because it's sung in Old Icelandic, and it talks about learning runes. It's basically a call to people who are interested in healing. And it talks about how to create runes, like what materials you need to make them and learning about them. So some of you may have been drawn to runes, such as these, and maybe wanting to learn how to use them. That is definitely a sign for someone that they should be doing that. And the numbers I got earlier was specifically 420 and 411 were two of them. And 420, interestingly enough, is literally a call to pursue your calling, especially if you're interested in healing. And 411 is information from the ancestors. So that could be a call for somebody. The other numbers, 1313 represents good news coming your way. 252 is do not fear. And 333 is encouragement and assistance. So we have for our runes here, Berkano, which is the, what is that? Berkano is growth. And then we have Lagus for intuition, growth and intuition. And then we have Gebo for gift. Oh, a gift of growth in your intuition. Ooh, this is cool already. I'm already excited. So a incoming gift in your intuition. So you may be suffering from a lot of headaches at this time. That could be an ascension in the crown chakra. So you may be clairsentient. You may know things without really knowing how you know them. Let's get into some charms and see what else we can learn here. Hello, hello. What else? Some charms for my collective here about this gift and intuition. Oh, interesting. Okay. So we have a star here, which is like healing. This represents healing, things like this. We have the rose quartz here for more healing, self-love, things of that nature. We have the clear quartz here as well, which represents transmuting of energies. And then we also have this little bell, and bells in spirituality represent clearing away negative energies. So you could also this could be clearing out blockages in those specific areas in order to bring in a stronger connection to the divine, to your ancestors. So that's very interesting. The house of self in Libra, a gift of growth of intuition, self-love, healing, transmuting negative energies, and healing. Ooh, beautiful. So let's get into the tarot and see what that's about. Hello. I'm feeling the Soul Tarot today. So let's get into it and see what our collective needs to hear today. Some of you may be drawn to shamanism. I would definitely say go for that. Shamanism is a beautiful thing. It's not easy. It's not for the weak-minded. There's usually an initiation process, and it is very rough. But if that is a calling of yours, you're encouraged to look into it, research, and see what calls to you. My advice would be, if you're interested in that kind of thing, to look into your roots and find your ancestral line, because that will tell you which form of shamanism calls to you the most. So let's see. And again, there's a strong call to someone here that if you are interested in learning runes and utilizing runes, to do so. And specifically to utilize wooden runes. So let's see. Thank you guys for your time and your energy, for your likes, and for just being here with me today. I hope you're doing well. I see 1, 2, 3. So again, that growth, there's been some progress here. What does my collective need to hear today? Let's tell me what's going on with my collective. What's going on with the collective here today? What's happening? What's happening? Connect me with the collective, the wonderful people. Oh, thank you so much. Connect me with the wonderful people here in this live today. Tell me what they have going on. Thank you. Don't be shy. Open up. 811 just popped up. That leads up to 10, which reduces down to 1. So there is a cycle completion and a new beginning. Again, intuition. If you have headaches, that's because you are working on your crown chakra. Getting in tune. You could be meditating more at this time, or it's a call to meditate more. Yes. But I feel super nervous and anxious. So someone here may be going through that. Maybe you're looking more into the occult, into spirituality, and you feel kind of nervous. Don't be nervous. The 9 of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, opening up. The 9 of Wands often represents guarded energy, but seeing it in the reversed means that we're opening up to something. What are you opening up to, my friend? What are you opening up to? What you're letting your walls down around what? Libra and sense of self. Is this the time where you're doing some shadow work? This is actually a great time for that. Let's see. Oh, we got quite a few here. Let's see. 4 of Wands in the reverse, the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Wands, and the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, so steady efforts in regards to, fast. Bringing forth something, leaving something behind, and the 4 of Wands reverse is like instability, rough family situation, like rough home life. Putting in daily efforts towards leaving behind some kind of stability, like not stability, but instability. What is this? What is this you're doing here? Tell me more. Tell me more. This is interesting. This would be a call towards going towards spirituality. I see the smoke coming in for cleansing. Could you be looking at old faith systems, old systems of how you grew up and were taught things, and we're kind of getting a new perspective? Is that what's happening here? Tell me more about what's going on. Let's dig in. The Hanged Man in the reversed. Ah, yes. Resistance to a perspective shift. So maybe we're finally digging in and looking at things different. There's still some resistance here, but we're making good progress. Putting in the efforts. Oh yeah, maybe you grew up super religious, but the goetic deities call to you, or shamanism again, which can conflict with old religious teachings. So we're kind of very carefully and cautiously heading in that direction. Yeah, it's like leaving one specific religion you grew up with or viewpoint and heading towards another that may not be what you're used to. That would make sense why it's this like nervous, anxious feeling. Tell me more. Tell me more, Spirit. Thank you. Page of Swords and Page of Pentacles reversed. So Page of Swords often represents learning, researching. You could be researching these things at this time. Oh, I just saw Judgment reversed. There could be a fear of getting judged for doing this. That's okay. We all go through that. And the Page of Pentacles in the reversed. Page of Pentacles is often like, it's the material realm, right? Health, wealth, home. But it's like the start of that area. But it's in the reversed. Tell me more. Can you clarify this Page of Pentacles in the reverse for me, Spirit? What do you mean by this? They're learning about what? Oh, well, spirituality. That would make sense, but clarify. Oh, geez. 9 of Cups. And this is in the sideways. The Knight of Cups. Oh, that's funny. 9 of Cups, Knight of Cups. That's funny. It's kind of realizing, it's like when you tap into, say you grew up super Catholic or Christian, probably Christian, right? Where I'm going with this. Say you grew up very Christian and you learn about Jesus and stuff like that, but then you start opening up to spirituality and you hear about Christ consciousness, and they have very similar energies. They're kind of the same, and so it's kind of like interesting. So this Page of Pentacles here and this Knight of Cups, this feels good here. Whenever I see a card sideways like this, it means it can go either or, right? So the Knight of Cups is all about, it's the most romantic knight in the deck, first and foremost, but it also talks about romanticizing your life, going after your dreams, pursuing your calling, things of this nature. Whereas in the reverse, it would be extremely moody. It's kind of like the adage of follow your mood, not the plan, instead of follow your plan, not your mood. And the 9 of Cups is literally the card of happiness. It's wish fulfillment. It's the happy card, besides like the Sun and the 10 of Cups. But it's the 9 of Cups is right before the 10th cup. It's waiting for that last cup for pure emotional fulfillment. But it's the wish card. So learning more about your own belief system in order to go after your own happiness in a way that's unfamiliar to you, like completely unfamiliar, but it feels right. We're just kind of in this in-between of whether or not we actually go for it. Well, the numbers I got earlier literally talk about incoming good news, do not fear, encouragement and assistance, information coming from your ancestors, and to pursue your calling, especially if you're someone who wishes to provide healing in some form, whether that's reading tarot, reading runes, spiritual work, shamanism, doctors, holistic, whatever format, right? Counseling, coaching, something that helps others. Those all came in. Tell me more, Spirit. Thank you. Oh, the 6 of Wands reversed. Oh, okay. So there may be a worry here that going after this may not, again, that feeling of being judged, that feeling of it, basically like a witch hunt, really. Hello, Spoonie. Yeah, there's a feeling of if I pursue like this specific calling towards helping others, I feel like I might be overly criticized. People might think I'm crazy. Or if I put all my faith and trust into this, what if it's all woo-woo and I've gone nuts? That kind of feeling here. Yeah, you're like, you haven't quite had that moment where Spirit really confirms things for you yet. Yeah. Because everybody who does this type of thing, anybody who's spiritual, they have moments like this where they feel absolutely insane. And then something comes in for them that affirms everything they believe in, and they go even harder into their spiritual journey. That kind of thing. Thank you, Spirit. Five of Wands. Yeah, this is causing a little bit of internal conflict. And the Five of Cups. Yeah, it's like we're already kind of, our current belief system, our current sense of self causes a lot of conflict and disappointment, a little bit of grief. But we're trying to change that. It's kind of like an interest going that way towards a new faith system, towards a new belief system that we feel like could really bring us a lot of happiness. We don't know a lot about it. We don't know a lot about it yet, but we feel like it could bring us a lot of happiness. There's that initial interest and that little bit of, am I crazy? Should I do this? And that 411 showing up again. It's like the ancestors and spirit guides and your highest self are like, we have the information for you. We have it. Do you want it? It's up to you. Which can be scary because it sounds like a trap. It's not a trap. Thank you. Yeah, it feels like a trap with the devil. It feels tempting. It feels like it's that initial resistance, that initial kickback, going in cautiously because you're like, could this be a trap? The Chariot reversed. Could this be my downfall? Could this be what leads me to like my ruin? Yeah. Interesting. What an interesting read this is thus far, especially with Libra. That's that balancing. But you are clearing stuff out. So there's definitely, it's like right there at the start. Thank you. And we have the Tower here in the reversed. Yeah, right before the Tower can fall, we're resisting this because we're a little scared. Interesting. Yeah, we're a little scared. Scared to take the leap, scared to let the foundation fall. Because maybe we aren't necessarily happy with where our life is currently, where our belief system is currently, but it's familiar. So we're afraid to go to the new because what if it's worse? Actually, yes. The sign I got for today for the zodiac sign was Libra for the number 7. And it's in the house of self. So it's about your self-concept. And you could also be a Libra rising. Don't have to be. It could be anywhere in your top 3. But Libra is heavy here. Yeah. It's that little bit of, at least I'm aware of the suffering over here. At least I know what it is. But this could be good and it could be bad. And if it's bad, what if it's worse? So I'm afraid to leap. Thank you. That 6 of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, afraid to leave, afraid to get on the boat and go across the ocean. 111. We're still working on this. This is a manifestation. 3 of Pentacles is all about collaboration. It's like we're tentatively reaching out towards this new concept, towards this new faith. Yeah. This I definitely get the feeling of perhaps you're drawn to a specific deity or a specific religion and you're just starting, and maybe you're praying to them or putting out petitions for those of you who are more magically inclined, and you're a bit nervous because you just don't have all the information just yet. Who else wishes to speak? Mythos? So we have our what is going on, this kind of like crisis of faith, crisis of belief system, and they want to know if it's worth it. Is this worth the jump? Am I crazy? Have I lost my mind? Oh my goodness. That's an interesting pairing. So yes, let's see. Why do you need to know this at this time? Because I feel like you're fully aware of your own crisis of faith. But why do they need me to tell them this at this time? Why do they need to know? Why do they need to hear this at this time, Spirit? Libra rising, Scorpio moon. You could be very drawn to the occult or have very, very intense feelings. Things kind of hit you extra hard. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Oh, the Nine of Cups in the reverse for Amphitrite, right? Because you're not happy. Your current belief system, your current self-concept, your current self-identity, you're not necessarily happy with. That's why. So you may have a deep, it feels like something's missing. I understand this feeling. There was a time where I woke up and felt invisible in my own life story. So this could be you. You could be deeply don't feel seen, heard anywhere in your life, and it brings a lot of sadness. And you're like, what do I need to change? What do I need to do? Welcome back, Lala Gator. Four of Swords, Hypnos. Yeah, we're in a resting period. This is like that moment of just trying to figure out what it is. What is missing from my life? Why do I feel sad? And we're trying to figure it out. Why else do they need to hear this at this time, Spirit? I hope you're doing well, Lala. And if not, I hope you do better from here. The Moon with Selene, right? So it's very confusing. Yeah, again, that what is missing. High Priestess as well with intuition, with Persephone. Yeah, that dual feeling of being deeply, we're feeling a pull. We're feeling a pull to go somewhere, to look at something. Yes, because again, we got that gift of intuition and growth and intuition. So it's oh man, this is cool. Someone's having a spiritual awakening. Someone's right there. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to the start of your healing journey, my friend. Sideways card. What is it? Knight of Coins with Zephyros. The Knight of Pentacles. Yes. The Knight of Pentacles is, again, we got him earlier, but the Knight of Pentacles, Coins is Pentacles in this specific tarot deck. It talks about showing up for the daily grind. They're the one who does the daily habits. They come in and they show up. They plug in constantly, right? And I see 7 here. So you may be someone who is very much, if you're religious, you're the type who dedicates your time to your practice. If you are someone who is a practitioner of the arts, you're definitely very much in your practice. You would show up, you would do the specific rituals, you would, do your wards, do your blessings, do your offerings to your ancestors, those types of things. You're someone who definitely shows up. But when I see it in the sideways here, especially right now, it's kind of again, going for it or not going for it. There's definitely should I even continue my current faith system, my current self-belief? What am I pouring all of my energy into? Yes, this is very true. Awakenings are rough, but they lead to growth. 1818 just showed up, which adds up to 18, the moon. Not knowing what it's all for. Why am I showing up? Why am I doing all of this? Yeah, it's yeah, it really is kind of what is this even for? Why am I doing this? Why else do they need to hear this at this time, Spirit? Yeah. Because you don't know where to go. Yeah, the Page of Swords, Oedipus, you don't know where to go. You're trying to research, but maybe you're not sure what to learn, where to go. In that case, I recommend you always start with your ancestry, where you came from. Where you came from. Always start with where you came from. And if you don't necessarily know, say you were adopted or something like that, and you don't necessarily know, blood-wise where you came from, look into things that really call to you. So for instance, if you really like Vikings and you really like runes and things like that, I would highly recommend just looking into it. Always respect, closed practices, because you can't really study those unless you're initiated into them. So don't try to take from them. But if anything calls to you, check it out and see if it vibes with you. Yes. We have the King of Wands here with Kronos. So it's like, yeah, we want that change. We want to go forward and do something, but we don't know what that something is yet. We have a lot of passion and motivation for it. Like, definitely. If you're going for what am I missing and how do I get it? You have, yeah, you want to complete your cycle, but you don't necessarily know what step to take. Oh, so that's why you're here. You're confused. There's a whole internet before you and you have no idea where to go. There's a, like, which path do I take? Which avenue? What do I need to learn? There's that sideways again, that Knight of Swords, the second fastest knight in the deck. Again, right, with Aries here. Do I just go for it? Do I charge in and just learn everything I can? Do I not? Like, what do I do? Yeah, that's like, do I just dive right in and just start learning every single thing ever? Or do I wait until something comes along? Yeah, and it may make you feel powerless. Because it's like, I feel like something needs to change. That's the Emperor with Zeus, by the way. Let me give him a moment. Yeah, let me give him a moment to shine. But it's definitely like, I have this desire to change, but I don't even know where to begin. And that makes me feel like I have no control. I can't, like, I want to fix it. I have the energy to fix it. But I don't know where to go, so I feel lost. Yeah, I feel lost. Where do I start? And the Knight of Cups with Morpheus. Oh, Morpheus. Beautiful Morpheus, right? But it's in the reverse. Remember how I saw it sideways earlier? Yeah, we're lost, which makes us feel hopeless, which makes us feel like, will I always feel this way? Will I always feel crushed under the weight of my own, like, desire to change, but nowhere to go? Thank you. That Ten of Swords, Melpomene. Will I always be in this sense of feeling betrayed? Yeah, it's like self-betrayal. I want to know. It's like, oh my gosh, especially with chaos here with the Ace of Swords. This is the truth. This card represents the truth, but the truth can be chaotic, right? Just because you have that information doesn't necessarily mean you know what to do with it. That's so interesting. I want to change. I want to do something. I have this knowledge that I need to change something in my life, but I don't know what it is. So my first inclination is, it's me. I'm the problem. Everything about me is bad and I need to change. No. You just don't know where to go yet. That doesn't mean that you're bad or you're dumb or like you're not worthy of finding out or changing. Yeah, that's your shadow side talking, the devil with Hades. The devil in tarot often represents, we saw him here earlier, it represents your shadow side. It represents temptations, vices, addictions, right? It talks about your how you self-sabotage, right? So knowing this truth and not really being sure what to do with it, especially with Eros here with the Three of Swords, that inner pain, deep inner pain of not really knowing where to go, not having the knowledge you need, may tend to activate old wounds of yours that cause you to be your own bully and criticize yourself. Okay, I see. So we're in a bit of a negative spiral. We're in a bit of a loop of not knowing where to start. So we keep telling ourselves that we're dumb and we deserve this unhappiness. The Seven of Wands with Soteria. That's interesting that it's in the upright, though, because you may have people around you who give you a lot of opinions about what you should and should not be doing, what you should and should not be believing, and that may fuel this. That may fuel some of this, like, inner bully work. Yeah. With the Star, with Nyx. There she is. Nyx. The Star. Healing. Yeah, we want to heal this because it's interesting. We have all these cards here, right, that I just talked about, who are all facing one way towards the past. And then we have the ones I just brought up who are facing the complete opposite direction, right? So it's kind of like, how do I put this? To find your healing, You don't need to listen to the opinions of others. Yeah, because whenever I see Soteria here, it's kind of like in traditional tarot, the Seven of Wands is a person holding a wand, defending against a bunch of them that are down here who are like trying to attack them, right? But in this one, it's kind of like she's wearing them in her hair and proceeding forward anyway, while still holding her wand. And she also has her bunny, which is a symbol of abundance, right? And fertility. So like, you know, fertility in the realm of ideas, new manifestations, and stuff like that, since this is the house of self. And again, the star, same kind of thing. Kind of looks like they're wearing a little crown of wands here, but that represents healing. So it's like proceeding forward anyway, despite, yeah, you want to go towards your healing journey, despite people going, oh, that's crazy, but we just don't know where to start. I can see why you would be so confused, because how do you change if you don't even know where to begin? That can often mean like, oh man, am I so messed up? Hi, Art. Am I so messed up that I can't change? Am I stuck in this cycle of being the same and being aware that I'm unhappy? You know, not an easy energy to be in at all. So I understand why we're in this. What do I do? Where do I put my energy and my effort? Do I just charge in? Yeah, or do I continue doing the same thing and hope that at some point my emotions about it change? Thank you, R. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well today. Let's see. Why else do they need to hear this at this time? The Chariot, Apollo. Yeah. That victory. Like, it's so interesting that they're heading towards the victory. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, we want to go that way. We want to go where we're no longer stuck in this chaotic, confusing energy of being aware that we're unhappy, wanting to make the change, but having no clue where to apply our energy, no clue where to start, those types of things. Please don't spam the chat. This is not a personal reading. This is a collective reading. If you want a personal reading, I offer that at the link in my bio. You can feel free to go check that out and ask me any question you want over there. The Five of Wands with Zealous in the sideways, right? This is the deity of envy, jealousy, and competition. We saw this earlier, right? The Five of Wands represents conflict. When I see it in sideways, as I've said before, it can be either or. Usually in the upright, Five of Wands can mean friendly rivalry, right? In the reversed, though, yeah, it can be friendly rivalry, you know, just the kind that's like, it's conflict, but it's not always really bad conflict. Sometimes it's just, I mean, all I can keep saying is friendly rivalry, right? It involves changing for the better. So it's like showing up and trying to be better than yesterday's you, if you know what I mean, right? But in the reverse, though, that can either mean inner conflict, past bad conflict, like really, really rough conflict, or it can symbolize jealousy, envy, and the rivalry that's bad, like just awful coworkers, awful people around you who are always comparing themselves to your life, or you're comparing yourself to their lives, which can cause a lot of drama and chaos. 555 for change. And that usually centers around change. Usually positive change, because people aren't really jealous of you if something bad happens to you, you know what I mean? Anything else on why they need to hear this at this time? Because it's like working on your self-concept and opening up that crown chakra to listen to your intuition, strengthening that intuition. Oh, again, someone might have a really bad headache right now. If you suffer from migraines, there is a trick of putting your hands and feet into lukewarm water and frozen peas on the back of your neck, or something cold on the back of your neck. And that can cause a shock to the system. Not a bad shock, but one that kind of makes you forget you're having a migraine. Just try that out. You can also pinch right here, and that can help as well. Yes. So yeah, like, we want to head towards that, but we have this bit of inner conflict kind of getting in the way. But that is, if you do get headaches, that is an ascension symptom. That is somebody whose crown is opening, and your crown chakra is literally where you get the strongest messages from spirit. So if you have been looking into spiritual practices, congratulations, you've unlocked the first step. It'll pass. One more card, and then I'll move into the next part. Tell me more, please. Thank you. The Hierophant with Dionysus. That's funny. So usually the Hierophant upright talks about religion, authority, traditional structures, societal norms, things of that nature. But in this deck specifically, it's the complete opposite when it's upright, because it's Dionysus, right? When I see this, right, he is all about the unconventional. He is all about breaking the norm. So that may be spurring some of this inner conflict, right? And why you've got that back and forth. It's like, I want to be better than I was yesterday. I want to make changes, but it will challenge my belief system, and that's scary. It'll go against what is normal for me, and that's terrifying, right? That's why. Yeah, that's why. That's why it's scary, is because it's different. And as I said before, right, we don't know a lot about it. We're already in this over here. Thank you. You too, Taylor. We're already in this over here. We're already in this era of not necessarily knowing where we're going. We already know that we're unhappy in this current self-concept, this current belief system, but we're used to it. We already know how we're going to feel. We already know the steps that we're taking. We already are familiar with the discomfort. So the new one, requiring a ton of changes, requiring stepping into possible losing of friendships, being judged or critiqued, at least that's a fear here, that can spur people to be afraid of change, because they're like, I'm already familiar with here. What if I do the new thing and it's worse, right? Because humans, we evolved to look for negative things, because at one point in time that helped us survive. So that's kind of a normal thing for us as humans, and is very hard to rewire our brain to go from what if something bad happens to what if something good happens? What if this change in belief brings me the happiness that I seek, right? Because this is something I've been through before. Hi, hello, I'm a spiritual person. I've gone through an awakening. I woke up one morning feeling like a NPC in my own movie. Had a crazy dream about a deity I currently work with. I'd never worked with deities before. I was raised Christian. I had no idea how to even go about this path. I'd always been a little weird, and was drawn to these types of things, but I thought it was just me. I was just weird. I'd always seen things. I'd always been able to speak to spirits. It was a very weird existence, and I just thought that maybe I was insane. So this thought process, I've been here before, of realizing I was deeply unhappy with my life and trying to make that change. And I will tell you, as someone who used to be afraid of doing it and thinking it would go worse, no, it didn't. It was actually the best thing I could have ever done for myself. So I would recommend it. But yes, so Marigold wishes to speak now. And I want to know, we have our what and we have our why. Now we need the what do you even do about it, though? Because it's really easy for me to sit here and tell you what's going on in your life and why you need to know. But we want to know what we even do about it. Thank you guys so much for being here, for your likes, for commenting, for shares, everything, really, honestly. I really, truly appreciate it. If you see me looking down and around, it's just because I'm focusing on the messages. So let's see. And I don't want to get overly distracted. because you're here for a message and I want to deliver it. 5005, mirroring energies. Some more of that wanting change, but being slightly afraid of the change. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's very normal. Oh, that's so satisfying. So, Spirit, what do they even need to do about it? What should they do about this? This is like right before the leap. Right before the leap. Well, first and foremost, listen to this song, The Runar by Dunheim. It talks about learning about runes for whoever is into runes. The Ace of Cups. So yes, the Ace of Cups, all about that feeling. So whatever you're looking at, whatever currently has captured your heart, that's your sign to go for it. Yeah, that balancing out. Because what you're wanting is that balance, that little Libra energy. We want to balance things out. Right now, we're too much in the muck, in the mud, in the confusion. Go after this calling of yours. Go for the calling. That thing that you can't shake, that is your soul speaking to you, and you should follow it. It will never let you down. No, it won't. Even if it looks scary, even if everyone tells you you're crazy and like, no, there's no way, go for it. Yes. Especially if your name is Alex. That name was very strong for me today. There's something calling to someone and they need to go for it. Ooh, that almost came out, but didn't. Almost that little leap there. What do they need to do about it? Yeah, it's that balancing, going for it. It's okay to be afraid. I mean, it's funny because one of the numbers was 252, which is do not fear, and an encouragement, like encouragement. Good news, you've been heard. We're here. We're here. Pursue your calling. Yes. What do they need to do about it? Yes. I hear that the bells. I got the bells earlier. Someone needs to put bells on their door. Putting bells on your door whenever you open and close your doors, like your front and back doors, it cleanses negative energy that comes into your house and leaves your house. It cleanses it and it keeps away harmful energies. That Tower in the reversed. Again, that fear of that change, this resistance to that change. Someone's blood sugar may be low at this time because I'm getting that shaky feeling. Please eat. There's like this resistance. Yeah, that resistance again. Hold on, let me clear. I feel this need to light incense. I always light more than one incense stick, but I often feel like my collective just really needs somebody to clear out some energies. Cleansing. Today is the day of cleansing. Cleansing and grounding cleansing practices. Cleansing and purification. So any of my practitioners here, cleansing would be a really good idea. If you don't know how to cleanse, if you're new to spirituality, you can do it in the shower. You would just go into the shower at the temperature you're the most comfortable with and imagine yourself being bathed in light as you shower. And imagine that dark, muddy energy that's in your body leaving you down the drain. That is a cleansing ritual. It's harmless. All it really does is bring some refreshment into your life. If you're the type of person who really likes essential oils as well, you can utilize eucalyptus. That's also a very cleansing, purifying energy in the shower and stuff like that. Sage is really good. Rosemary is really good. Pine is really good. Those types of things. Sideways. Whew. The star here, that healing. Again, look. The resistance to the tower falling is why this is sideways. This beautiful healing energy, right? And we see the crow here, this crow skull. Crows represent messengers. They represent messages from the divine. Oh, you know what? Some of you might be Christian or Catholic, and you may think that if you delve into spirituality, you are somehow losing your faith. I'm here to tell you that you can be both. Okay, you can use things like bibliomancy. There are angelic tarot things. You can do that. You can still call upon God. You can still call upon Jesus. You can still call upon archangels to get the same messages. Spirit is spirit. The universe is the universe. They don't really care what your religious faith is. If you want the help, they're here for you. Yes, they don't care what name you call them. It's source. It's your belief system. You can utilize it. Just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you can't talk to your own deity. That doesn't make sense. And if you're wondering what bibliomancy is, it's basically taking the Bible. It's what you do in Bible study. Taking the Bible, you're going to a random page and you're reading what calls to you. And that's your message. That's bibliomancy. Right? And that is your message from God, from the angels, from who you believe in. You can do that with any of your religious texts, really. You don't have to give up your religion to be spiritual. Religion is just a human-made spiritual practice. That's all it is. And I know someone's going to get mad at that. That's fine. Nine of Swords, yeah. Resisting this tower, resisting this foundation crumble is causing this back and forth between this anxiety and this healing. Yeah, it's literally doing that. The Nine of Swords. Swords in tarot represents thoughts, feelings, and words. Or not feelings. Thoughts and words, excuse me. This is the spiral think. This is the speaking negativity into your life, right? You see how it's on the jaw here, speaking, and then the thought process. So it's like when you're in your head and you're constantly thinking of all the negatives, replaying things that hurt you over and over again. That's what that represents. And the star is all about healing. But these both come directly after the resisting of the tower. So these cannot go up or down, right? Until we address this tower that we are resisting. And the tower is not always this huge, horrible thing, right? Sometimes, like I said, it's the house of self. It's that self-belief that maybe someone just needed to hear that you can be Christian and still be spiritual. And that's all they needed. Yes. That heavy pressure, man. I feel bad for whoever's going through all these headaches right now. They have a lot of stress because, like, stress headaches usually are like that vice grip pressure. What else do they need to do about this? Because it just seems like there's this tower that we're not addressing, this fundamental belief that we're afraid to address. And that's what's going to help with this negative think, this spiral. Thank you. Wow, that really just landed all beautiful. Like the King of Pentacles, the King of Rings. One of you may be an earth sign as well, and that may mean that you feel like you can't be spiritual because you're logical, right? Like that can't be possible. Those types of things. Yeah, the extreme thinking. I'm either this or I'm that. But the world is way more, like the universe is way more gray area than anything else. You can be both. You can be practical, logical, and tied to the material plane while also being a spiritual being. You can be both. You absolutely can be both. Because think about it. Science changes every single day. What we know about life changes every single day, right? There are colors that exist that dragonflies can see that we cannot. That doesn't mean that those colors don't exist just because we're not aware of them, right? It just means that we haven't caught up to that yet. We haven't found the technology to show it to us in a way that we can perceive it. So you can be both. You can be a logical person and intuitive. You can be a heavily religious person and still be spiritual. You can do both. There's no law. Like, Spirit's not going to condemn you because you're religious. That's not it. All they want for you to do is do what you came here to do. They want for you to exist. They want for you to be happy. And they want for you to pursue the thing that you came here to do. That's all they want for you to do. And they're going to keep trying to help you do that because that's the whole point. Whether you decide to do it one way or another, they're going to help you out. and they have to respect your free will. So if you choose not to listen, well, they'll just keep trying, because that's the point. What else do they need to do at this time? Yeah, you can be someone who believes in psychology and still believe in intuition. You can do all of that. That's absolutely fine. Sometimes we just don't have an explanation yet because we haven't caught up to it with our own specific technology. Yes. Yes, Nina. Tomorrow will be a good day. The Three of Cups in the reversed and the Two of Pentacles in the reversed. Yeah, because we have this like rigid thought process, because we feel like if I am this, I can't be this. It's like feeling like, oh, I have to give up everything that was about my identity in order to pursue this. It makes us feel like we have to stay stuck somewhere that we don't like being. Yeah, I have to continue doing the things I do that don't really make me happy, following things I don't really like, and chasing after things I don't want. Because if I don't, then who am I? If I change, then I'm suddenly not me anymore. Oh, I'll have to look into that. Emotional freedom. Okay. This is a collective reading. If you want a personal reading, I offer that at the link in my bio. I'm happy to answer any questions you have over there. It's not clickable because I don't have 1,000 followers, but you can check that out and see if I vibe with you. I'm more than happy to answer your questions there. What else do they need to do? The Chariot. Yeah. So, yeah, that feeling. Addressing this tower will lead you to that victory. That's the place. You want to know where to start. You want to know where to go. That's where you start. You got to address this. If I am this, I can't be this. That's where you start. You can absolutely be a very scientific, logical person and still like to read runes. You can even utilize psychology and all of that in your readings. It's a beautiful combination. I do that, right? I am also a big believer in psychology and science and all of those things. And I look at this stuff and I think of those things. I think of Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud and, I can't remember his name, but he did the one on the dreams. Dang it. Was it Apostle? I don't remember, but I've looked into those types of things. I've looked in and I've read on them, and I've looked into like the literal meaning of cards, and you can combine them. It's not an issue. It's actually a very beautiful blend because it helps you to talk to others and kind of bring a more practical. It's like going back to when people used to have societies that utilized both strategy and intuition, combining them into really good advice. Because it's a beautiful blend. Three of Wands in the reversed. That's like, yeah, you want the proof before you actually leap off the building, which is fair. You don't want to leap off a building. Thank you. You don't want to leap off the building without seeing where the ground is, So I understand that, but at the same time, sticking to this, you already know the results. You already know that you're not happy in this current belief system. You're already familiar with this discomfort. So why not try? The only way to fail is to never start, to never go for it. If you go and it doesn't really work out for whatever reason, you can go right on back. You don't just stop being yourself. You're allowed to wear many hats. You're allowed to try new things and go back and forth and change your mind. That's the beauty of having free will and intelligence. You can go back and forth, do new things, try new things, try on a new hat. Thank you. Six of Wands. Yeah, we're trying to find that validation, that confirmation before we've even taken the first step. It's like meeting a stranger and wanting them to give you their whole life story before you decide if you're friends yet. You know what I mean? But if someone actually did that, if they actually trauma dumped on you and gave their whole life story, that would freak you out. Because oh, whoa, I didn't want all of your life trauma in order to, then moving forward, you would always utilize that in every decision that they make, Same thing with the spiritual journey. You basically want God to come down from the heavens and show you that he's real, without realizing that a deity doesn't have to show up in the corporeal, they're their own thing. Why would they come down in a meat suit when they are a forever infinite being? Why would they squeeze themselves into a tiny suit? You wouldn't. You would not. Yeah. It's I have been telling you that I exist. You just don't know how to read my numbers. Yeah. I had the Earth and Moon vibes in here. Yeah, I'm telling you, somebody here is drawn to shamanism, but they think that by being a shaman, they have to go full woo-woo and they can't be in 3D. And that doesn't make sense. We live in a material 3D world. Why can't you be both? I mean, shamanism is literally being connected to the earth. So of course you would be in the material realm. You can be both. It's okay. You're not going to be punished by either side for being, 333. You're not going to be punished by either side for doing that. The earth is not going to reject you because you're spiritual. That doesn't make sense. And the spirit's not going to reject you for being of the earth. You're living on the earth. The only people who might reject you are people who don't understand. And that's fine. If they don't want to be a shaman, they don't have to be. But who cares? Page of Cups, the Knight of Wands in reversed, and the Two of Cups. Yeah, the people who get that upset about it aren't really good for you anyway. Because why would they be comfortable seeing you unhappy and miserable instead of being happy? Yeah, that Page of Cups, we don't want to commit fully with our emotions, with our heart, because we're afraid we're going to be let down, we're going to be stepped on and used. But, you won't be. I often say this, right? Your relationship with spirit is your relationship with yourself, because you are spirit. You are the universe. We're all tapped into source, right? When you get into that relationship with yourself, you find the most reciprocal relationship you can ever have, because you're born with yourself and you leave with yourself. Yes. So the more in tune with yourself you are, the easier it is for you to hear spirit, because you don't have all the extra chatter going on. I hope I'm making sense. And spirit will come to you with your own subconscious vibrations. So what you put out, right? If you're someone who says, I can't be spiritual, I have to follow this specific belief system that doesn't fulfill me, because if I don't, I'm a fraud. My whole life has been a lie. I'm a fraud. I suddenly I'm not allowed to exist anymore for some reason. Spirit's okay, if that's really what you want, that's fine. Here are all the experiences that will affirm that belief, right? Because that's your choice. We have to respect your free will. But if you're actually, I want change, they're going to go, oh, you want change? Okay, you want change? Here's opportunities to change. Will you choose different this time? Will you go with the new belief system, or will you stay in the familiar? And it will keep doing that until you decide to change. And then you change, and then you will find more changes coming in to help you stand in that confidence in yourself to make more changes and become that person that you're trying to become, your better self, the one that doesn't overthink, spiral think, anything like that, right? That's basically it. That's what it is. Your relationship with the universe is a very reciprocal energy. What you put out comes back to you. Your relationship with yourself is your relationship with the universe. What else they need to do? Thank you. 9 of Cups. Yeah. That leads, that conflict around our inner happiness. Yes. We don't know where to start. Well, the start is this this rigid, extreme thinking. I can't be both. I somehow have to delete myself to become this. No, you're not deleting anything. You're evolving. That doesn't mean you delete something. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move into the advice oracle cards, but before I do that, I like to do a little recap for people who missed the live. So just bear with me for a moment and we will jump straight into the advice. I like the advice ones because they give little sentences that give you something to think about as you proceed down your path. So just bear with me. So this collective is currently going through a bit of a crisis of faith or crisis of self-belief, right? We're opening up to the idea of change. There's some kind of calling or pull to something that we're not used to at all. A new religion, new faith system, spirituality. There is some kind of pull here that is very overwhelming. It's like a constant nagging feeling. Could be having headaches, pressure headaches. There's something calling to you that you have been avoiding for a very, very long time because it's terrifying, right? And it's coming in quite quickly. We're afraid of it. It's coming in quickly. We feel that energy coming in. There's a call to leave something behind, something that's been very unstable, something that's brought you a lot of unhappiness in regards to your self-concept, right? Or who you see yourself as, because this is the house of self. So who you see yourself as, what you identify yourself as, your self-belief, self-concept, right? There's a new perspective on the horizon that we have been afraid of looking at for a long time because we have this fear of being judged for it, right? Overly critiqued, people leaving us behind. You've started to look into it. So for instance, if it's runes, because someone here is interested in runes, we're starting to look at runes, but we're still afraid to like do the full jump in. This is something that's definitely spiritual because it's not necessarily related to like material concerns. And we're at this back and forth of whether we chase after it or whether we leave it behind. We're in a very moody, like, oh, this is nonsense. I just need to suck it up, embrace the suck and all that stuff. Or I should really go for this. This really makes me happy and I feel like I need to go this direction. We're back and forth on that. Yeah, we feel like if we go after it, we're not going to be recognized. People are going to think we're crazy. You know, just general being ostracized. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and people kind of seeing you as crazy, you know? It's brought a lot of conflict in our lives, a lot of disappointment, and we keep going back and forth in our shadow self of kind of pushing that down to the side, repressing that call, and continuing that cycle of doing things that you already know don't make you happy, but it looks right. And this has kind of led you into a constant negative spiral think, right? Because it's like you're aware of your own suffering and you want to change it, but you don't know how. So you just keep repeating the same thing, hoping that, I don't know, the path will open up in a different direction at some point. And it's because we're resisting that tower from falling. We're resisting that foundational change. We don't want that tower to fall because we feel like if our foundation falls out, we have nothing, which is not true. Yeah, we're afraid to leave that one thing behind. We're afraid to work with this calling. We're afraid to work with this inner pull. And the reason that you need to hear this today is because you're unhappy. You're not happy with your current circumstances. You're not happy with your current self-belief. You're in a pause at the moment. It's very confusing and murky. You have this intuitive pull, right? These headaches and stuff like that is a activation of your crown chakra. You're receiving your guidance. You're receiving you asked for change. You're receiving that change. You're receiving the pull, but we're afraid of it. We're afraid of that pull because we don't know anything about it. We don't know, and therefore it's terrifying, right? We're wondering if we should put any effort into it or if we should leave it to the side, right? We've already been plugging away over here and it hasn't been working. But there's a new thing and it's like, oh, do I? Do I? Don't I? Do I? Don't I? Right? We have all this energy and this drive for this change. We want to complete this cycle. We want to finally get out of the never-ending spinning loop of, I'm unhappy, I'm aware I'm unhappy, but everything I do to change it isn't working, right? We feel powerless and out of control. We feel like we'll never be happy. And because we're aware that we're unhappy, it constantly leads to us continuing to bully ourselves about being unhappy. Yeah, it's a constant re-internalizing of pain, a constant stuffing down and shoving down of uncomfortable feelings. There may be opinions of other people who tell you what you should be doing, things like that, what you should be believing in, what should be making you happy, that are kind of fueling this. But we really want to heal. We want to go after our victory. Really, 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 really do. Right? As you should. That's the human modality. We want our happiness. Spirit says, screw their opinions, right? Screw them. Go towards what actually makes you happy, towards this healing journey, towards this victory. You already know what you want. There's a call. There's an intense desire for change. And here we have this internal conflict, this deity of jealousy, rivalry, and conflict, right? We have this constant back and forth of wanting to be better, right? Because upright is more of a positive rivalry situation, wanting to be better than we were yesterday. But then there's also the, inner conflict of, oh, well, if I do that, people aren't going to like me. They're going to think I'm crazy, that kind of thing, that constant spiral loop. We're being pulled to that because what we want is different from what is currently going on. It breaks the norm. It breaks the traditions that we're used to. And that's okay. That's okay. We're just afraid of it because it's different. What you need to do about it. Spirit wants you to go after it. They want you to go after it. Pursue it, right? Because it's that balance that you need. The reason you're getting that calling is because that's what you need in your life. You're resisting this tower, which is directly causing this constant worry, this constant overthinking, this constant speaking more negativity in your life. I don't deserve happiness. I'm just unhappy. I'm never going to be happy. It's always going to be this way for me, right? Speaking your unhappiness, speaking more into your life versus that healing energy, right? It leads us into this back and forth of, there are times where I speak happiness into my life and it feels very healing and empowering. And then there's times where I speak negativity into my life. I continue to further those worries, those anxieties, those fears. And it leads me to constantly feeling like nothing's ever going to change. You're definitely a very practical person. You are someone who's definitely of the material realm. But there may be a fear here that by embracing a more spiritual approach, that will somehow negate your worldly self, which couldn't be further from the truth, right? You feel like it's definitely a case of, I can only be this or I can only be that, not realizing you can be both at the same time, right? And that leads you to continuing to choose the thing that you don't like, having priorities up here that you don't really want. It's having your priorities all out of whack. And leading you to never celebrate your life. No. Yeah. Feeling like your ships are never going to come in. You want, whatever this is, you want this new pole of yours. You want for it to come up and show you the results before you've even taken the first step. It's a feeling of wanting a spirit themselves to suddenly show up in corporeal form and tell you all the reasons why you should do that thing. Like, you're wanting them to meet you where you're at with your 3D senses. Even though in order to even do that, that would require an astronomical amount of energy. And if I was a spirit of unlimited energy and power, why on earth would I want to be in a physical body? Thank you. So yeah, we want that confirmation, that validation of this is the right choice. We want that. Before we ever put our heart into it, before we put our emotions into it, because we don't want to be used. We don't want to jump into it and it turns out it was all a lie, it was all fake, and now we're back where we started, right? But your relationship with yourself is your relationship with spirit. It is a very reciprocal relationship. They can either bring you your happiness or more conflict. It's really up to you, because they have to respect your free will. If you want happiness and you actually go for it and you put in that change and you change your mindset, you can start calling in your happiness, and Spirit's like, yes, perfect. You want happiness? Here are all the opportunities you need in order to chase after that, if you're willing to chase after them, right? Oh, okay. We're in a I want more conflict because my subconscious keeps saying that my life sucks, I'm miserable, I have no luck, I have no money, I have no nothing. They're like, oh, okay, if that's what you want, here you go. That's kind of where we're at. Which way do you want to go? Because we'll give you whatever you want, whatever you're vibrating at with your subconscious, right? Whatever you're showing them you want is what you will get, because that's the point. They're literally here. They're you. They're you. You are the universe. You are source. Source is you. If you keep saying your life sucks, they'll give you what you ask for. So that's the recap. Let's get into the advice oracle cards in order to give you something more to think on as you go forward. I also like these because they have animals on them for further confirmation for people. So let me just move everybody out of the way and move forward, because this is a tough energy. I've been here before. I know what this is like. Spiritual awakenings are not easy. Not easy at all. Oh, I just got this. So this has happened to me before. It's very interesting when this happens. This card has no other cards. It's something that comes in subscription boxes. I have none of the other cards of this set. It just fell off of this. So I feel like it's relevant here, right? Again, purple for that crown chakra up here, and pink for the heart chakra, right? So again, this is the healing of the heart space and opening of the crown chakra. And it says, I tune into the healing power of my heart's sweetness, recognizing that I am worthy of kindness, love, and care. Interesting. So it's like we're starting to tune in. Yeah, and that journey looks super complicated, doesn't it? Where would you even start on this really complicated little spiral? That's really cute, though. That's a cute little message for you. So let's get into the advice oracle. So that's beautiful. Again, I told you, if you're experiencing a spiritual awakening, if you've woken up and become aware, congratulations. Welcome. You woke up. Welcome. From here on out, you will be aware. And that means you can do something about it. Don't be afraid. You'll be all right. Knowing is, oh gosh, this is such a cheesy quote, but knowing is half the battle, everyone. Knowing is half the battle. Some of you could have played with G.I. Joes growing up. That's funny. But knowing means you can do something about it. But this is definitely more of my logical based people. Hello, welcome, hi, same. You could be an INTJ if you use the MBTI personality test. If you do, hi, hello. Me too. My little robot masterminds. Let's see. Last one, and then let's see what advice they have for you as you go forth. Spirit, let's ease some of their anxieties, help give them some clarity as they move forward and ease their fears. Yeah. What advice do you have for them that will help them at this time? Did I knock on this? I hope I did. What advice do you have for them at this time during this spiritual awakening, during this gift of a growth in their intuition, some healing? What advice do you have for them on this path? And don't be shy. We don't like when it takes forever. What advice do you have for them at this time? As I said before, if you're confused on where to start in your spiritual practice, look at where you came from. This and that are true. I said it earlier, you can be both. With the dolphin spirit here, someone could be 20. This and that are are true. You can be both. You can be highly logical, highly practical, someone who is very much of the material realm, and spiritual, intuitive, creative. You can be both. You have this big, beautiful brain, and we really feel like it's incapable of doing incredibly complex, imaginative things. Like we're like, oh, logical can't be creative. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? How could it not be? Have you seen some of the stuff that people make? What do you mean? Some of the beautiful inventions out there? That's incredibly creative. Someone dreamed up a rocket ship and sent humanity to the moon. Are you kidding? That's amazing. It's literal magic. With just utilizing the universe's language, utilizing numbers. That's crazy. Any other advice for them, Spirit? I saw that, but I don't listen when they do this, because that tells me they're not ready to come out yet. It's like undercurrents. I think of them as undercurrents, or in other cases, it could be other people's opinions, and I just don't listen to those. Thank you, Spirit. We have that sideways again. Know your worth with the skunk. Yeah, this and that are true with know your worth. It's kind of like, why are you limiting yourself? Why are you limiting yourself to one manner of existing when you can be anything? Yeah, 9/11 just popped up. 9/11, that adds up to 11, which is a manifestation number. You are a creator. Humans are creators of the universe. We can literally turn things into other things. We can create from nothing. Why would you box yourself up like that? Why would you confine yourself into a small existence? Why would you do that to yourself? We can literally change into an entirely different person like that. Why can you not be both? Why not? Persephone is both the floral maiden and the queen of the underworld. Why can't you do the same? That doesn't make sense. I mean, think of it for all my logical people in here. We can send humanity to the moon, but we can't be religious and spiritual at the same time. That doesn't make sense. 1, 2, 3 steps on the path. Yeah, you can be both. You can be of the earth and of the stars. The earth is in the universe. The earth is one of the stars. You can be both. It's okay. What other advice do you have for them at this time, Spirit, as they go forward on their path? And I know some people aren't really ready to accept that, and that's fine. You see clearly now in the reverse. Interesting. So yeah, we're still looking for that information. We're still trying to see, because we don't know our worth yet. We don't necessarily know our true worth as humans, as a being. Yes, we're still looking for that information. Start where you are. Start where you came from. If you don't know where you came from, start where that pull is coming from. What other advice do you have for my collective at this time? Yeah, because your intuition will never betray you. Your intuition whispers, your fears and your anxieties scream. They're very loud. But your intuition is that thing that's always pulling at you. 11/11 just showed up. More of that manifestation. That adds up to 4. Foundation, stability, security. Yeah, manifesting that foundation. You're already on the path. You're already there. You've started. You've started your journey. Interesting. Okay. Sorry for everybody whose eardrums may have just exploded. Can you hear me? I'm not sure if I'm muted or not. Embrace the in-between. Yeah, we're in that transitionary period. Someone maybe 26 as well. Let me know if you can hear me. I still don't know how the mute works on this mic, but yeah, we're in that in-between of not necessarily knowing which direction to go and not really having our information clear just yet because we're still searching for the starting point. Like we're looking for the starting point when we're already at the starting point and we're trying to be done before we've even, oh, thank you so much. We're looking for the starting point when we're already at the starting point. Does that make sense? You have something calling to you. Something's missing from my life. Okay? What is calling to you at this time? Is it runes? Study runes. Is it, I really want to do, I'm curious about this specific religion. Okay? So go learn about it, right? You already know where to start. You're just afraid to start. You want more love? Start with self-love, right? Start with loving on yourself in order to understand where your boundaries are in upcoming relationships. Like, think on, what do I really want? What am I searching for? What is missing? Find it. But at this time, you're in that in-between. And that's perfectly fine. That means you're on the scenic route. It's time to enjoy the scenery as you proceed forward, right? This is the time where you get to learn all kinds of new things. You get to look and delve into things. This is the time where you go, I want to do spirituality. So then you look into the Green Witch on YouTube, or you start looking into druidic practices or shamanism, or perhaps you're someone who wants to learn about hoodoo, right? You get the opportunity to be new. You get the opportunity to learn, to start that journey and look around. You want to read books on this type of stuff. This is the beautiful time where the world is open to you. All of this information is open to you, and you get to experience it for the first time. It's actually super beautiful. Life becomes less gray and becomes more colorful, right? This is the time. Yes. Because I remember I did the same thing. I didn't know where to start. So I looked into my ancestry and I just went that way. And it's been a great time. I've learned so much about where I came from and who I am just by doing that. And I would just recommend that. You start where you are. You start with you. And that will guide you along the way. That will lead you more on the path. Any more advice for them, Spirit? Because I feel like we have been very quiet with these cards. Be peace. Be peace. Yeah. So again, with that inner conflict, we want to know where we're going to end up. Should I go into it? Will this work out? Am I crazy? No, just follow the pull. Follow the pull. And don't feel like you have to be perfect straight from the get-go. Progress over perfection always. And watch your words. Again, if you have a tendency to make self-deprecating comments as you go forward at this time and speak more negativity into your life, this is the time to watch it. It is called a spell because of spelling, because you're speaking. Yeah, people don't realize how powerful their words are. When you speak, your subconscious hears it and it cements it as a core belief. Pay attention to your words. How are you speaking about your life? How are you speaking about yourself? That is how you believe your life is. That is who you believe you are. Okay? Even if it's a joke, we all know it's not a joke, okay? All right, my fellow millennials, I see you. It's not a joke. Any other advice for them at this time, Spirit? So watch your words. Yeah, overcome any obstacle. Yeah. So I like to see this upright, because if it was in the reverse, that would mean that you're smacking your head into the wall, hoping that the wall moves itself. This means that we're looking at this more as an opportunity to overcome this moment in time of not knowing. It's kind of like we're taking it as a personal challenge. So again, for my intellectuals here, it's like it's an exciting thing. We want that knowledge. We want to soak it up. We just have no idea where to start. And that's fine, right? That's totally fine. You're going at it in the right attitude of, I need to know where to go because I'm tired of feeling this way and I want to do something about it. Turn knowledge into wisdom, right? That wolf spirit. Start where you are. Start with yourself. Where do you come from? If you're looking for a new religious belief, if you're looking for a new self-concept, dive in. Look for, think, what am I missing? What am I deeply, deeply craving? What do I feel like is missing from my life? I feel like I'm not loved. Okay. That would be the time to start looking into self-love, right? And I can already feel the eye rolls. I can already hear the grumbling. I don't mean you need to be perfectly healed in order to jump into your next relationship. What I mean is you have to get comfortable with liking yourself and treating yourself well in order to understand where your boundaries are and what you will and will not tolerate. If you don't love yourself, you'll let anybody treat you any sort of way, right? So that's where you start. You start with yourself. If you can give yourself that type of love and care, then other people will do the same, right? Because you'll show up in that energy. You will show up as that. Thank you. If you feel like you have no control over your life, start where you're at. What can you control? What can you do? And then figure out why you need to control everything, right? What is it that I feel like, or what is it in my life that has caused me to feel this need to know everything that happens? Why do I need to know every single thing that happens in my life? Why do I feel like I need to have my hands on everything, right? Start where you're at. If you want to do spirituality, again, look at where you came from. If you don't know where you came from, look at what calls to you the most. Thank you so much, love. Any other advice here? Be hungry for knowledge, especially if you're looking into spirituality. You're going to be learning your entire life. You're going to be please read your books, read your articles, watch the videos. Be hungry for knowledge. Be hungry. Anything else, Spirit? Knock at the door. Opportunities incoming. So the more hungry you are for knowledge, the more knowledge will come to you. Okay? Anything else, Spirit? Thank you all so much for being here. Again, your likes, all the wonderful gifts. Thank you. I hope that this resonates and that this is helping. Yeah, be hungry. And if you do look into resources and you do read them, read more than one on it. Allow other people to give other opinions and allow yourself to go in and decide what you do and do not believe, right? You're smarter than you think. I know you already know that because if you're my intellectual, I already know that you have a big old smart brain. Yes. Debate. Look into it. Get curious. Soak it up. I want to see your to be read list be even longer than it already is. Get curious. And if you don't like reading, then your list of videos you need to watch. Time to let go. Yes. Someone could be 31 as well. Time to let go. Letting go of that belief that if for some reason, if you choose this new way of thinking, you've somehow lost a part of yourself. You never lose a part of yourself. Never. You'll always be you. And believe in yourself in the reverse. Yes, like I said earlier, you are an infinitely powerful being. You are capable of changing your life at the drop of a hat. Why are you confining yourself into this tiny little prison? What do you mean? Believe in yourself. Your relationship with yourself is your relationship with spirit. If you feel powerless, it's just because you don't have the information you need. Go find it. Follow the calling. You will find it. And then stand in it. Oh my gosh, stand in it. You are never alone in the reversed. As you go forth, as you have just awakened, as you have continued on your spiritual journey, for those of you who have awakened before, and this is the next step in your ascension, in your spiritual journey, remember that spirit is always with you and you are always with you, okay? You will always have your back and spirit will always have you. Because again, your relationship with yourself is your relationship with spirit. You will find those people who will support you. All that knowledge out there comes from other people. There's a whole world out there of infinite knowledge related to these types of things. Soak it up. Let the voices of before guide you along your way. Yeah. And last one, and then I'll call it for the day. Because I feel like that's a pretty solid words. Yeah. Anything else for the collective today? Thank you. Welcome back, Art. Anything else? This last bit of advice for them, Spirit, before I release them into the wilds. Just thank you for being here, R. You don't have to watch my videos if you don't want. If you're busy, that's absolutely fine. No problem. You guys have lives to live. I am not hurt by it. But I will, yes, for those who don't know, for those who are new, I do have a YouTube channel. I do take this whole live and I upload it over there afterwards. And on TikTok, I take a summarized video from the recap to now and put it on TikTok for those who can't make it, who want the short version. Oh, no. Well, thank you for coming back. Last bit of advice, and then you're free to your scrolling. Ooh. Oh, you're going to give me a bunch? Okay. Reclaim your power with 44 for that beautiful foundation security. When you see numbers doubled in numerology, that is a multiplication of energies, right? 4 represents stability, foundation, security. Reclaim your power. Remember how I said you feel powerless? That's because you don't know where to start yet. So start with you. Be playful. Yes. Be playful. Get curious. Soak up that knowledge. Get excited. Be like a kid in the candy store. There's a whole world of infinite knowledge out there, and you have the opportunity to figure yourself out. This is a beautiful moment in time, even though it may not feel that way. It's a beautiful moment in time where you get to rediscover who you are and re-meet yourself at your core, okay? And we have Trust in Divine Detours with the reversed for 16, which is the Tower in the Tarot. What I tell you before, we're resisting it. We're resisting that tower. Spirit's trying to help you. Let the foundation fall. Stand in the ashes and start anew. Because guess what comes after the tower? Guess what comes after the ashes, the rise, the healing? That's what comes after. You have to let the tower fall in order to start over. Okay? So, that is what I have for you today. I hope that it helps, and I hope that you continue forward feeling lighter and a bit clearer on where you need to go from here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a reader, for allowing me into your energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your time and your attention. If you are interested in a personal reading, I offer that at the link in my bio. If you are watching from YouTube, that is in the description box. So please feel free to check that out, see if I vibe with you. The services I offer, it just says the number of cards, but that is the tarot cards. What I also include in those is the oracle advice, dice, runes, charms, channeled messages, all of it, okay? So that's included in all of it. I just did that for simplicity's sake so that you know exactly what that is. But just see if I vibe with you. If not, and this is the last that I see of you, then I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I wish you all of the love, healing, health, joy, abundance, and happiness on your journey forward. And remember that life is an ever crooked path and you are never off of it, okay? If you have chosen to follow me and you like my vibe, I wish all the same for you, of course. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.